Good evening, boys and girls. It's a brand new week. You know what that means. Blank canvas. Let's paint pictures. Let's tell stories. And I don't give a rat's ass what you say about the red shorts. I love them. Here we go.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Fans have embraced more blue in our away kit. Fans have embraced third kits that look like someone got shot. Fans have embraced all sorts of swag. And this weekend, everyone had a meltdown about the fact we were wearing red shorts, red socks. I, for one, love it. I wonder what my podcast brother from another mother thinks. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Super Kev, Super Kevin Campbell. Bob.
Squaddies, did I see you? Did we see them yesterday, Soph?
Maybe.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We did. Hey, listen, Squaddies, all the very best and at ease. Take it easy and let's go. Monday Madness.
Love it. Put your screen down a little for me, Kev. I've got too much ceiling then. Need to see your pretty face. Yeah, there we go.
Listen, I've been on all sorts today. I've been doing all sorts today.
You always are.
So 1 minute it's on another camera.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And all that. So bear with me, Squaddies. Bear with me a little bit today.
Good evening, boys and girls. Hello to all the usual suspects in the house. Well done, Magic Mike, yesterday. The open mic was a huge success. Everyone loved it and enjoyed it, Kev. We had callers from Palestine, Trinidad and Tobago, Canada, all sorts of places, as you know, with our Highbury Squad community. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Fantastic. Magic
wonderful
Mike's doing a sterling job. Brilliant.
Yes. Gooners, don't talk to Kev about Everton. Well, Kev will face it all.
Listen, I'll face it all. Everton, especially at the back, aren't good enough. They're not good enough. So you could see the chalk and cheese. They go toe-to-toe with Manchester City at home. And now here they are getting absolutely done in by Spurs. It's crazy.
Who, by the way, Kev, 2 weeks ago, the sky was falling and were rubbish. And now they're world beaters again, Harry Kane and Son. It's just ridiculous how sports works sometimes, isn't it? It's kind of annoying in many regards.
It is, so. But, you know, there's some tough games for them teams coming up. They've got Man U next week, I think it is.
Yes.
You know, we've got Leicester next Sunday. So there's a lot of the top teams are going to be playing each other in the next few weeks. So that's going to really settle who's going to be really challenging for that top.
Yes, indeed. And we'll get to that a little bit. Lone Star, thank you so much for your kind words. Mr. Bungle, Tammy, Gary, DJ Funky, Edison, Alan, Universal Greek, Christoph, Future Shock, Craig, everyone in the house, welcome to the big show. Trev, KG, special hellos to everyone this fine Monday evening. Demsek, he smashed it yesterday. Popped in the show on the open mic, did a great job with the big man himself as well. So welcome. Has anyone checked on Ugo Chukwu? Welcome back to the house as well.
Well said, Soph.
I'm on fire tonight, Kev.
I don't feel it.
Here we go. Let's talk about this a little bit. So I've got the top 5 talking points, but I did want to touch on this because you mentioned, Kev, Tottenham have got Manchester United, Brighton, West Ham, Newcastle, Aston Villa. They play Brighton again. Then they go to Brentford. They got Leicester. They've got Liverpool as well. And of course, Kev, you know they're saving that North London derby till the end of the season. Do you not feel it in your bones, Kev, that it's coming? I've been saying this for weeks.
All the chips in the middle, isn't it? It's going to be all the chips in the middle of the table between us two, probably. So, you know, we've just got to keep on the run we're on, keep winning. Hopefully, look, I think we've got a game in hand on them, but it's one that we have to win. We need the points. Obviously, points will be dropped along the way. That's for sure. But
yeah,
It's gonna come. It's gonna go to the wire, Soph.
It is going to go to the wire. Elliot Roberts in the house from Toronto too. You did do great on the show. Taib, welcome. I was wondering. I was a bit worried about you. Good to have you. Ayushman too. Right, let's get into our top 5 talking points because a lot of this relay will come back to Spurs, Man United at the end of the show. Sorry, something in my throat there.
Stick 2 fingers down, Soph. It's all right.
Just get it out, right?
Just get it out.
Wanted to share a couple of picks from the weekend. This might be my favourite one, Kev. I mean, I love this one. By the way, were you adverse to the red shorts?
So it was a bit weird to see. I've got to say, it was a bit weird to see. But you know what? If they're going to attack like that and play like that in the shorts, keep them on. I don't mind. I mean, attacking wise, Sophie, I thought we were absolutely delicious.
We were delicious.
Forward. We were delicious. Precise passing. Some of the interchange of play was awesome. And 3 absolutely top goals scored. So, you know, hey, we christened the red shorts with attacking fluidity.
We did.
Fortunately, defensively, I think just that last goal, if it would have finished 3-1, we would have been okay. But the way it finished, I think, just left a little worry in the head sometimes.
Okay, so that's the first talking point I wanted to start with you was on the defense because they've been such the nucleus of our recent success and rebuilding this team with a backbone. We've lauded Gabriel. Benjamin White is still questionable for some fans. You and I have been huge supporters from the very beginning. Aaron Ramsdale has been absolutely crushing it. Tierney, his leadership has been fantastic. Tomiyasu is where I want to shift gears a little bit here. You and I said, Kev, that Cedric, for as long as he can do this, this is great. But is he going to be able to do it for 13 more cup finals? Can I ask you from a strategic, tactical perspective, taking us beyond the white lines, is that what has affected the protection at the back, especially for Benjamin White? Kev, can you tell me what you're seeing and why we've become a little bit vulnerable in the last couple of games?
No, I don't. It's not Cedric, that's for sure. I think, look, we've played against some good teams. We played Wolves away, got a clean sheet there. So we can't just say it's because of Cedric. I think maybe it's a little complacency. Maybe it's a little bit of unknown. Sometimes that's happening. We know we don't fear anybody. So that's for sure. We don't fear anybody. But when you actually look at, we've seen Cedric come in previously. We've seen Tavares come in without Tierney. So we've seen Holding come. So there's been moves that's happened in the back 5, and we've been okay. I just think it's maybe a little bit of lack of focus, because defending is an art. So attacking is an art. Defending is an art. If you're going to be a top side, you have to stick to your principles of being able to defend and give nothing away cheap. That's why I think we're a little bit gutted, to be honest, the way Sissoko scored the second goal, because it was a little bit cheap. You know, one ball beat us, and then centre half goes in and he gets past that and he slides it under our keeper inside our 6-shot. That's too cheap. Teams shouldn't score goals like that against us. So one was a worldie, so it
was a great goal. Which,
listen, anybody who says someone's to blame, maybe he could talk about the cross, stopping the cross or whatever. But once the cross comes in and it's away from everybody, the overhead kick's fantastic. It's that second goal. That's the little worry where we have to just stay vigilant, stay tough, not give anything away easy. And then our last line of defense, Rambo, I thought he kind of made it easy, because he could just slide it under him. He kind of dived over it a little bit. So, you know, we want to tighten that up, but we are going to have to rely on these back 5, whether Tomiyasu's back or not. we're going to have to rely on this back five, so
Yeah.
in coming games.
And to be honest with you, I agree with you. We said on yesterday's show that despite moments and pictures like this, it wasn't Ramsdale's best game. He got a little bit overly cocky, and I'll get to that in one of our talking points. But, Kev, what I did also like was, without calling the players out individually, Arteta collectively said, and I don't think he was throwing anybody under the bus. And again, I think this is the maturation of the manager that we're seeing in him, and credit where it's due. I do this on this show, is that he said, we just can't have that. We can't allow that to happen. And he said it was cheap, which I thought was a good way of putting it. Did you like the fact that he was able to be candid about that up front without throwing... I didn't think he threw anyone under the bus.
No, look, Soph, at the end of the day, the manager sees everything. And if we are to get to where we want to get to, there are still things that we need to address, even in a win. I know I say winning cures all, but when you're part of the team, there's still things you need to clean up and tidy up. And that defensively wasn't good enough from Arsenal. It was a cheap, I think we just said, it was a cheap goal to give away. It was too easy.
Yeah.
The manager sees that. And probably the players see it. The players will probably have watched videos of that today or tomorrow.
Totally.
They'll watch that and say, look, one ball cannot beat us, and then one player goes through and scores. We've got to shut that down.
Yeah. So I wanted to underline what you had said, because the gaffer said pretty much the same thing, and I thought it was a fair comment. And also, I believe it keeps the players on their toes, Kev. No complacency. There's no looking down. Keep looking up, moving forward, and try and eliminate those mistakes. Can't let those mistakes start creeping into our form of play, especially as we've got a lot tougher teams coming up than Watford, Kev.
Yeah.
A lot tougher teams than Watford.
But here's the great thing, Sophie. Every game is different.
Yes.
No game is the same. So you tend to find the players, when they are playing against a better side, they know
raise their
more.
game.
They raise their game because they know there's more at stake.
Yeah.
So they should be all right. Fingers crossed. And, it's some things that you got to put right on the training pitch.
Yeah. I mean, look at Spurs 2 weeks ago. Like I said at the top of the show, Conte was walking out. The sky was falling. They're absolute garbage. They whipped Everton 5-0 tonight. But let's also look at the opponent. That's why I didn't want to get... Yeah, I'm enjoying the fact that we've got a 4-game winning streak. But I think Brentford and Wolves are a lot tougher than the current Watford team, to be honest, even though Watford, I think, held themselves to good account. I wanted to put Virginia's comment up and tie it into Don Juan's, Kev, because it goes a little bit into the first talking point, which we'll whip through right now with your final answer, in terms of that defence. And I was talking to Mike Stavrou on Twitter as well, and our good friend of the show, Dave Seeger, because Mike was pointing out that this experiment of Xhaka playing ahead, and in that... that's that 8 role, 6, is it number 6, more of a 6 or an 8 role? Virginia says, because Xhaka's playing high up, he's leaving us vulnerable on the left side. And then Don Juan is saying Martinelli's structural positioning and lack of tracking back is giving no support to Tierney. Are the two intertwined? Well, a lot of folks want to know your take on the Xhaka's more forward role, and if you see that continuing as we kind of head into these 13 more cup finals.
Yeah, I asked a question on Kev Says about should we be more aggressive? Mm-hmm. Now, Xhaka playing a bit further forward makes us more aggressive. We end up scoring 3 unbelievable goals. But nobody says because Xhaka's playing further forward, it puts more stress on their defense that they can't keep us out. So, but yet it makes us structurally weaker. I don't think we were in much problem. At 3-1, Sophie, we were cruising. We cruised that game. It's just when Sissoko scored so late, then you think to yourself, hold on a minute, could this go horribly wrong? I think Xhaka playing a bit further forward gives us a bit more option. And I think I said to you, Xhaka playing the ball forward helps us. It's better for us. than him being so deep. So, look, does it make us weaker? The fact of the matter is Kieran Tierney is sat there. You know, he's not as if he's further forward and Xhaka's in higher up the pitch and we've got nobody on the left-hand side. No, I don't think so. I think sometimes we can get caught out a little bit when we turn the ball over. Mm-hmm. But if you're not going to push forward, you're not going to score. So it's a two-way street. We have to try and win these games. We have to be aggressive, try and win these games.
Yeah.
But knowing, so sometimes against better opposition, we might be a little bit more vulnerable. So Xhaka doesn't go forward as much against some of the better teams until we establish a foothold.
Yes. Yeah, indeed. And yes, Virginia, thank you. Number 8 role. It's going to be interesting to see kind of how he adapts and how he tinkers a little bit more going forward. Kev, you make some great points there. I've been called a yaya tonight. That means a grandmother in Greek, Kev, and also some speculation that I'm pregnant, which is always very interesting how these things come about.
Are you so?
Oh, it would be a gift from God. Let's just put it that way. I tell you something, if I'm knocked up, we're making a shit ton of money, Kev, because it would be the second coming. We'd have the Jesus shirts. We'd have it all, mate. I'm telling you.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Praise Jesus.
Lord.
Lord. Okay, let's get into point number 2, Kev. The question of Saka. Now, I'm happy that the World Cup isn't this summer. I've mentioned this to you previously. And the reason it being is because Saka's at least going to get a break. And I know we've laughed at this whole rest Saka, he's tired. Forget about it. We haven't been playing European football. We're out the cups. You and I are totally on the same page about that. But I wanted to talk to you about, has the attention coming to Saka, are you concerned about it or are you embracing it? I'm trying to put yourself in his young shoes when you were coming through the ranks at the Arsenal, and there was you and Rocky and Pops and all of these young players, and then all of a sudden England comes calling. Do you think that Saka's spotlight is greater than Grealish and Foden now? Or do you think because Foden and Grealish played for Manchester City, Saka can still kind of do his thing and not be overly overwhelmed with the attention, Kev? Can you talk me through that a little bit, or am I overthinking it?
No, you're not overthinking it. I just think Grealish and Foden will be spoken about because look at the club they're at. They're top of the league right now. Mm-hmm. They're pushing. They're still in the Champions League, etc. So they're kind of in the focus, but Arsenal are right up there now. So if they're in 4th position to this date, Saka's an instrumental part of what Arsenal do. And let's be honest, Sophie, we asked the question at the start of the season: would the summer affect Bukayo Saka? What happened in the Euro? Could that really, play on his mind and affect him? And I said, well, we're going to find out about the player, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're going to find out what he's about. Sophie, he's about playing football. He's about learning the game. He's about expressing his talent, doing what he can for Arsenal to win. And as we're seeing, I think Declan Rice has been outstanding for West Ham. And yeah, there you go. And Saka, and you tell him, and Saka has probably been the second best of that England squad from the Euro. Declan Rice has been top. He's been outstanding, but Saka has been second. And Saka is improving. He's improving all the time. He's another one of them youngsters, Sophie. We're relying on him now. We are.
Yeah. And you could argue, Kev, that especially in regards to, even though Greenwood didn't play, Rashford, I mean, the way he's bounced back in terms of Rashford and Sancho, who were part of the unfortunate, ugly scenes of some England fans just behaving abhorrently and disgracefully, he seems to have been the one to have bounced back the strongest. And I do remember when you said we're going to find out a lot about this kid and, you know, his mental strength. And I think it's a credit to him, but also I would like to say, when you look at what's happened to Rashford and all of the pressure that he's come under too because of the great things he's been doing off the pitch, you have to also say the Arsenal environment must have helped with that. And you've been part of that environment and know that if one of your own is attacked, that culture, even though our culture has been broken, it shows you our culture really is recovering to a positive spot.
Coming together. You need like-minded people around. What you definitely need, Sophie, are people who care. Teammates who care for the well-being of your teammate. I had it when I was at Arsenal. This culture, we talked about the culture, and people, you know, people could talk about, it's not about that, it's about this, that, the. I am telling you, if you do not have the culture right at your football club, you're going nowhere. Manchester United do not have the culture. They do not have the culture. They had the culture back in the day, but they don't have it at the moment. We have rebuilt ours. Not fully, but we are getting there, Sophie. And I think that really has helped Saka come in and feel comfortable back at Arsenal. The fans have played their part. The manager and the culture, the staff and everybody plays their part in helping that young man stay focused and keep pushing forward. And that's what he's doing. And do you know what, Sophie? He's a credit to the football club. He's only 20 years old.
And look at this, Kev. Most combined goals and assists players aged 21 or under in the Premier League in the 21-22 season. Look at the two at the very top. And look who's in fourth. It's
fantastic. Listen, there are babies. There are babies, aren't they? But they're growing up fast, Soph. They're growing up fast. And when you're having that sort of output, Sophie, while you're so young, I mean, look at their baby faces, so.
I know.
There's not a beard. There's not a beard in sight.
There isn't a beard. I mean, you know, I'm sure Saka's,
you know.
This one especially just gets to me, of course. And someone said to me, he looks like baby Jesus here, Martinelli. and of course, but when you see those stats and then you look at how, you know, I mean, Jack Grealish is what, 24 now? Phil Foden is, I think, 21, yeah.
21, 22.
Greenwood is in a whole lot of bother in his life. And
I think he's the youngest of the lot, though, isn't he?
Yeah, and then you look at Rashford, and then you look at also their mentality, Kev. And I asked you about this last week on the Monday Madness show, is, you know, Elise and Foden. Now, Foden has had a little bit of bother off the pitch, but I think with Pep, he's going to find his way and realise, you know, don't screw your career up by doing stupid things. These three seem to, and you've said it a lot, just love to be footballers. And so far, touch wood, we've been very lucky with their mental strength and behaviour off the pitch, especially as they play in the bright lights of London.
One, family. Their families have been obviously very good for them. Two, their mental capacity and strength. Because, look, living in London, there's a lot of pitfalls, Sophie. You can go there. There's everything in London. You can go down the wrong route easily. But these young boys, young men, should I say, I don't want to call them boys too much because they're young men, really. You know, these young men are proving us proud. They're proving us proud and doing us proud on the pitch. We know it's not always going to be great, Sophie. We know that. It's impossible to always be great. And, you know, get well soon ESR, obviously. But they have been carrying the team. Look at that. 3 in the top 4 of goal involvements. What does that tell you? That tells you that they're carrying Arsenal forward. All we asked was the experienced players help us. Help them moving forward. And that's what they're doing. Experienced players are turning up now, Sophie. So, yeah, look, Saka has a good game. Martinelli didn't have a great game. He scored a goal, though. ESR wasn't there. It might be Martinelli next Sunday, who's the star. And we just need Saka to do his job. We don't mind by committee. We don't mind, as long as we get over the line.
Yeah, and because we've been when we have had young players, we were way too reliant on Jack Wilshere. We were way too reliant on Cesc Fabregas. And even though he was older, when Robin Van Persie, whenever he used to get injured, it would be like the sky was falling. We were reliant on Ozil for a long time. We were reliant on Sanchez and then Santi. And we've never really been able to bring that collective together for a number of years now. And you're right, Kev, the goals are coming. We had this conversation last season, I think. We were like, man, if we could just go back to being that team where you get goals from the left, the right, the middle, the odd set piece with a defender strong in the air, like a Gabriel who can do that more, I think. I think it would bode well for us. The other thing that sometimes gets poo-pooed these days, Saka is very strong in his faith. And whether you are into that or not,
whether you're a believer or not,
it works for him, Kevin. And I think that also has a massive thing to do with what you talked about, family and faith, which works for a lot of athletes, in today's world as well. So, all right, good one on Saka. Now, here's one that will probably light up the chat box. 300 of you in live chat this fine Monday. Look at you, squaddies. Tell
150, 150. Not the like button, caress it, or even, do you know what? Give it a quick dig. We want 150 minimum. Come on, squaddies.
Listen, if Kev says 50, then we're in the club. We're
making 150. Come on.
We're making this. We're making this happen. I love it when you guys go at each other in a very good banter way. Soph ain't blocking no one, Taib. You should not go slagging people off on other channels. Oh, there's a bit of an argument going on between Mr. Bungle and Taib.
Stoke it, Mr. Bungle.
If Matty K's in chat, I'm sure he'll play referee. So
dig the ting, Mark. Yes.
Virginia will be next. Okay, here we go. Kev, number 2. Big question for you.
Oh, is it 3?
Number 3, big question for you. You asked this 3 weeks ago on Kevin Says. So I'm spinning it back to you after the game he had yesterday. And Robbie Mustoe and I were going back and forth yesterday a little bit because he said, here is my tweet for the most underappreciated player of the weekend. And Musty, of course, picked Lacazette. And question marks going on right now, of course, and a lot of debate as to whether or not this guy should stay or should go. Arsenal apparently have offered him an extension. I mean, they've offered him that several times. Kev, what is your take on... Are you worried that if we go down this road, we'll be making the same mistake again? This is Lacazette's last chance to get an Uber contract. He'll be listening to numbers and digits, of course, from other teams. I'm not sure if other teams would offer him as much as we're offering him. What's your take on this situation, Super Kev?
My take hasn't changed. I think Lacazette is proving how important he is to the team, even though he's not scoring. I mean, his assists. What is it? In the last 9 games, he scored 1 goal and got, 8 assists?
Yes.
I mean, he's contributing. That's the key, Sophie. You've got to be able to contribute. If you're not contributing, then there's no point you being in the team. So if you're not scoring goals, you've got to be setting them up. And he's setting them up, and he's set up some wonderful goals. I mean, that first goal that he set up yesterday was absolutely outstanding for Saka. The way he took it and just rolled it back. Saka one touch in the top corner was superb. And even the set for Martinelli where he didn't have to change stride. We could just sweep it into the top corner. Look, I truly think they would like to keep him on their terms, the Arsenal would, with a 1-year contract or maybe 2 years. I don't think that's what Lacazette's after. I think he's after a 3-year deal, if I'm honest with you, Sophie.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, at the end of the season, he's free.
Yes.
This is where his money can get made up. So you can say teams won't offer him as much as Arsenal, but because there is no transfer fee, he can obviously get more years,
money. Yeah.
or more years. So you think if I'm paying you £1 million, for instance, just to make life easier, if I'm paying you £1 million over 2 years, but then they're offering you 1.6 or 1.8 million over 3 years, you want to get as much as you can while you can. So signing, you're more secure on the 1.8 million contract, if you understand what I mean. Maybe you might not make as much to start with, but over the period, you've got an extra year, which will get you closer to retirement. So I just think something drastic has to happen. I think we need to. I love the way Lacazette plays, Sophie.
Yeah.
But we need a player who can do both. He's proven his worth, holding it up, doing all the dirty work. Is great, but we still need a striker who can stick it away, Sophie, because that will really make us a feared team.
Prolific striker. A
Yeah,
20 plus.
Well,
20
do you know
plus,
what,
are you
Sophie?
talking?
Sophie, here's the problem. Sometimes when you get a 20 plus a season striker, it's always good. But what we need is a player who can dovetail with these brilliant youngsters as well as score goals. So do you know what? If it would add 5 more to Saka, 5 more to Martinelli, but our striker scored 15, but the link-up play was just as good. Do you know what, Sophie? I'll take it, because as committee goes, we are a better team. We are a better team.
Okay, so Thunder Road, not on this show. We've never turned against Lacquer on this show. We've tried to show how you should appreciate him the same way Firmino is appreciated at Liverpool. And yeah, some fans just don't see it and don't get it. Has he been criticised by all of us? Yeah, of course. I mean, there's times where he's got to finish certain chances, and he's had some easy chances to finish. But in terms of what he brings to the team, and Luzma is one of a few, Kev, that's talking about this. Is it a concern to you how influential he is with the younger players? Can you replace something like that at the Arsenal? Let's say Xhaka goes in the summer, Laka goes in the summer. No matter what people think about Xhaka or Laka's lack of goals, they in the dressing room, in training, are very important to these young players. Does that concern you a little bit or no?
I think it's important who the team recruit. I think that recruitment's going to be key. Look, at the end of the day, playing football is about winning, right? And sometimes having those players who these youngsters rely on might mean that other players have to step up. We will need to bring in some experience, that's for sure. We will. And obviously there will be other players who these youngsters may have to rely on. That's the fact. And that's where the likes of Thomas Partey, that's where the Gabriels of this world maybe have to step up a bit. So, you know, Odegaard might have to take on more of an experienced role. Even though he's so young, he might have to take on a bit more of an experienced role. But you know what? We've got some fantastic young talent. Get a striker in who could stick that ball away and who can make these youngsters better. That's another player who they can look up to. That striker who's a little bit older than them, who can help them develop.
Yeah. All right, brilliant points from Super Kev. Keep them coming, you guys. 340 of you in live chat this fine Monday. And Cuckoo mentioned, of course, Kev, a couple of other players being
players. Good player and Cuckoo. Good player. Listen, we need a number 9. That's what we need. We need a number 9 who can give us so much. He's got to be able to hold it up. He's got to be able to get on the end of crosses. He's got to be able to link the play. You know, it's important. We need an all-rounder. We do.
Yeah. Yeah. And eventually the team does have to, Demsek was saying his heart says he wants Laka to stay, but his head says it's the right time to try and move on and evolve the team as well. So we shall see what happens, you guys. Okay, let's get to number 4. I want to go back to Rambo a little bit, Kev. I don't think there's any denying that in the Premier League this season, barring a couple of other keepers, he's been one of the best.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about how there were certain fans that kind of ridiculed the signing early on this season. We want to move on from that. He's proven himself. What worried me a little bit yesterday was that he played a little too, someone used the word hyper, which I thought was apt. And maybe a little bit cocky. We always talk about goalkeepers, and we've got part 2 of the goalkeeper show coming up in the next week with Mike, by the way, you guys. You'll be delighted to hear about that. Are you concerned, or was it just one of those crazy goalkeeper games and moments? You're not worried about Rambo 2.0 getting a little bit above his stations here, and shouldn't be overthinking that one too much?
Yeah, I think with Rambo, he plays close to the edge. He has to have that edge about his game, Sophie. And sometimes it does go against him a little bit. We've seen it before. It's not the first time it's going to happen. And, his kicking weren't great either. Some of the ones what come back to him, and he usually pings balls, but he was playing it straight to Watford. There was especially one moment in the second half where he kicked the ball out, and if the lad had got his head up, he could have probably, if his touch was right, he could have probably lobbed him, but thankfully didn't. It was a bad game. He didn't have a great game. It was a bad day at the office for Ramsdale, so to speak. But we know over the course of his Arsenal career so far, he's been excellent. Mm-hmm. He's been excellent. So what I'm going to say is the best thing to see is next game. The next game is the most important. So let's see how he is against Leicester, because this is where we need him to be on it. Mm-hmm. We need him to be on it in every game, but obviously he wasn't fully on it in Watford game, but we got through. Leicester are probably a better attacking outfit than Watford. So we have to be on it. We really do.
Yeah. Is Vardy back now for that game?
Yeah, Vardy's back. He played on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think he played 65 minutes or something like that. So yeah, he's back.
Yeah. Elliot sees a lot of Grobbelaar in Ramsdale. I hope not too much Grobbelaar.
Bruce was the right character. Well, listen, one thing you do know, so they're all mad. They're all bloody mad, the goalkeepers. You know that, don't you? Yeah. They're all mad.
Yeah, they're all mad.
They're lunatics. But, Ramsdale maybe just has to put a lid on it just a little bit, just to refocus himself.
Yeah. Good evening, good morning, South Australia. And BB says Rambo just needs a few training sessions with Bob Wilson.
I'll tell you what, if I would be so happy if him and Bob could have one session a week, even for 45 minutes. Bob Wilson, I'm telling you now, was exceptional. He was that good. Remember, Sophie, I told you the story. Me and Wrighty used to say, Bob, we just want to come and train with you and the goalkeepers, because he filled you with so much joy just to be out there on the training pitch. He was absolutely brilliant. He was.
He always, of course, you and Wrighty, by the way, being around someone like him or shooting at him, that helped your games big 100%, time.
100%. And you know what? So he's got so much experience. Bob Wilson has got so much experience that, the double boys and all that, but he was so open to share it, to share things with us. And, he was a top, he is a top man. Bob Wilson is an absolute legend and one of the nicest people you could ever meet. So,
yeah, definitely.
We'd love to get him back on. He can't wait to get back on.
He can't wait to come back on. I was going to we have a special competition coming up, you guys. In the next couple of weeks, we're bringing our good friend Dave Seeger back, who has written this wonderful book, which I have now, Arsenal for Everyone. It's a fantastic book that showcases our community and all of the people that do incredible things despite the challenges they have faced in life. And let me just tell you that someone has signed the book, and I'm going to leave it at that and keep you waiting because we're going to do something special on the show in the next few weeks. Kev, as always, I love it when you bring up the old stuff because we're going to rock it in the next few weeks with some of that. So always good. All right. One more I think I have. And you know how I like to be wrong, Super Kev? You know how I like to eat my words.
You do? Really?
Yeah, I was sharing the humble pie story with the producer over at Sky Sports because I'm doing early kickoff tomorrow morning. And, you know, I was saying, listen, Kev's turning that heat up on the humble pie. Like every week, it just cranks it up one notch, one notch, one notch. And I was saying I would rather be wrong about everything and have my team be successful about everything, right? Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I said, the party's over. I'm done with the party. We need a new party. Someone get the balloons.
You were with Josh at the zoo, basically.
I was like, stop hugging him. It's over. And then Josh, of course, on the squad, on the tactical squad last week, the question he got the most was, so Josh, are you still selling Thomas Partey? Kev, can you talk me through a little bit? I think this is really important because I think one of the reasons, and again, I'm eating my words, talk about call it and be so wrong. But like I said on the show at the weekend, I think he heard me. All right, just saying.
Yeah, he listened to yourself.
Yeah, he listens to the Highbury squad. Ever since his sending off, I don't know what's happened. He had that game against Liverpool and we were all like, oh no, now he has to go off to AFCON. Right? And we were all gutted because we're like, this is the Thomas Partey that we need and we want. Comes back within 5 minutes, gets sent off. And we're all like, what the heck are you doing, dude? Ever since that moment, again, it shows whatever the culture is now at the Arsenal, whatever his mindset is, however he deals with adversity, I have been so impressed with not only how he's been playing, but also his mental. Can you talk me through a little bit, if you agree with that shift since that sending off? And for you, you've been very consistent about how this guy is as important as, you know, Gabriel and at the back and that relationship with Benjamin White. Yeah.
So for me, I look at when he came back from AFCON, obviously just got off the plane and was on the bench and came on, didn't he? So maybe it was a bit of fatigue. I called it Xhakaritis. He goes and he goes and does 2 stupid tackles and gets sent off. Right now, the manager wouldn't have been happy. Partey definitely wouldn't have been happy. He would have looked at himself and thought, "What am I doing? So, what am I doing? Because that isn't me. You know what I mean, Soph? That isn't me. But what has he done? Sophie had what he missed. Was it 2 games he missed, or was it 1 game? Whatever. He missed a game, and at the same time, Xhaka missed a game. Thomas Partey must have said to himself, "Hold on a minute." He must have looked at the team and thought, "I can't. This can't happen. I've got to be in that midfield. I have to be there." So, Sophie, there's a little bit of self-governance. There's one is self-governance. There's a little bit of self-motivation. There's a little bit of probably the manager giving him a kick up the backside and saying, "Thomas, I don't ever want to see that again because you're better than that." And he's put his game together, Sophie, and we look so much better now he's back. He doesn't do stupid things. He's still that player who I mean, he makes it look easy, Sophie. And because he makes it look easy, people don't realize how hard it is. That connection with with Odegaard, he has a connection with Xhaka, but that connection with Odegaard where he slips it between the lines and Odegaard receives it on the half turn. I am telling you, anybody who's played football will tell you how hard to play those passes in traffic are, but he does it effortlessly. We need this guy so much to be at this level and beyond. I think now, Sophie, he's fit. He's not struggling with any injuries, touch wood. And we're starting to see him being a bit more consistent over the period. We believe he can get better, Sophie. In fact, we know he can get better.
Yeah.
But I think as we start putting the correct pieces in place, I think then you start to see Partey's level start to rise even more.
Yeah, and I think Lone Star brought it up earlier, but Luzma as well. He's another player, Kev, that to me felt like a bit of the pressure. I've got to deliver. I've got to deliver. I've got to be the hero. They expect a lot from me. I'm one of the star signings, because that can happen to you. You always say, like, the badge. People don't realize the weight of the badge when they first come to the club. And I think maybe this is something that, you know, he's been able to adapt to. He's looking more composed and he is keeping things a lot simpler. And as you say, even though he makes it look so simple that sometimes we don't realize he's actually doing very intricate things. Very
difficult, intricate passing, precision stuff that you think is easy, but I'm telling you, you don't see anybody, not a lot of people can do it from that position. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, very good. Lots of good comments about Thomas Partey. And yeah, I mean, you guys, so far, I want to see more. Like Kev said, I want to see him be this dominant every single week. Those great midfielders, the Fernandinhos of the world, the Jordan Henderson. Look how far Jordan Henderson has come. People laughed at Jordan Henderson. And some would argue he's been a better captain than Steven Gerrard at Liverpool. That might sound controversial.
I wouldn't agree with that. But.
Well, he's won the Premier League.
Yeah,
could win another Champions League.
Yeah, I know, but I wouldn't agree with that. So
I don't know. Maybe he's less selfish.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that either. But look, one thing I will say is obviously Henderson has done a great job at Liverpool. Steven Gerrard's a legend at the football club, obviously, and you know, timing's a funny thing, Sophie. Steven Gerrard just came, it was there, and Klopp came, and it just didn't quite carry over, you know. But Henderson obviously has benefited because he then became the leader. Probably benefited from having Gerrard not being there. Do you know what I mean? Probably benefited from Gerrard not being there because now he can impose his mindset and his personality on the team.
Listen, I respect Steven Gerrard. I love it when people go a bit nuts based on one comment. I have so much respect for Steven Gerrard. I actually feel so lucky that I got to cover him when he came here to LA Galaxy. And we used to chat in the dressing room. We used to talk about Sunday roast dinners. I adore the guy. He is a top shelf footballer, human being and leader. But I also think it's a very interesting debate. And you guys know I'm going to ask those questions. We've got a show coming up called Versus Captains. And it's going to be, you know, Adams versus Vieira, Gerrard versus Henderson, you know, John Terry versus Dennis Wise. We're going to look at all of those. I love those kinds of shows, and I love putting those questions out there. Leaders are great for different eras at different times. So it'll be interesting to see what you guys think. Well, if it's a joke, put a Bitmoji. You know what it's like these days. If there's no laughing Bitmoji, I don't know if it's a joke. I mean, it's so like, Kev, I would never have been able to get that close to Gerrard if I was in the UK. You just don't get that moment in the dressing room. Lampard, Gerrard, Andrea Pirlo, David Villa, David Beckham, Zlatan. I mean, the only one that snapped at me once was actually typical Robbie Keane. Ex-Spud, innit?
Well, what did you say?
Irish Fire.
What did you say to him? You must have said something.
Do you know what he said? Do you know what he actually said? So I was in the dressing room and I asked him a question about his game, and he wasn't having a great game, and he was so prickly about it. And he knew, because I've been there, but I had been in Europe for a month, so I hadn't been to a couple of home games. And do you know what he goes? He goes, "Oh yeah, who's you? I haven't seen you in here for a while." I was like, "Ouch!" Totally dissed me in front of everybody. I took it like a woman, Kev. I took it like a woman.
Of course you do. You say, yeah, you haven't seen me for a while, but you'd be seeing me a lot more.
Yeah,
so what's
mister.
the answer?
Oh, my God. It was so funny, though. He was nicer to me after. Beckham was really nice. Anyway, I digress. That was a brilliant top 5, wasn't it, for today? Absolutely superb.
Excellent, Soph. Excellent.
I've got a quick bonus one for you.
A shock.
Shocker. Quick bonus one. You got 60 seconds to answer it. Are Arsenal in total control of top 4, Kev?
No.
Okay.
There you go.
Just 1 second answer.
1 second answer. The reason why I say that, Sophie, is because of the big games that we've got coming up. Mathematically, yes, it looks like we're in control, but we play some teams who can really hurt us and who have hurt us in the past.
Yeah.
What we have to start doing as a group is come together and get past some of these teams. We need to beat a Liverpool. We need to beat somebody big, Soph. We need to get a couple of these boys beat.
Yeah. There's a long, long way to go. And, you know, after this Leicester game, we've got Man United, we've got Liverpool, we've got Chelsea, we've got West Ham. I don't need to tell you guys, you know who we've got, but they've got tough games too. It's going to be absolutely crazy. And yeah, the captain's show, Virginia, will be really great. It's going to create a lot of dialogue in the chat. Jared, better late than never. Be kind, rewind and listen to the rest of the show. Let me tell you, tomorrow I will be on Sky Sports early kickoff, 7:30 a.m. UK time. Tune in. It's also International Women's Day. So we have a bonus little show coming out tomorrow. And
So I'll be on at 9, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, discussing that tonight.
I love it. Oh, God. Sorry, Kev. Oh, God.
Hey, but I'm sure they're going to try and chuck a little bit of Arsenal somewhere. I hope.
Yes, I'm sure they will, and you can always spin it. Yeah, spin it to
try something. Got to try
spin
something.
Spin it to the Arsenal. They've got a Tottenham YouTuber podcaster on as well with me, so I'm sure there's going to be some fireworks tomorrow morning. If you'd like to wake up early and spit your coffee out, join Sky Sports.
I'll be watching. Yeah.
Early kickoff, and be sure to stay tuned at 9 for Super Kevin Campbell as well. Look at that, the Highbury squad smashing it on Sky Sports. Don't forget, you guys, where is it? Real quick shout out to our... God, I didn't even put the banner up today. Poor Sophie, very poor. Got so engrossed in the conversation. Doesn't matter, it's all over our Twitter, and we'll be posting it all week as well. Benjamin White, his boot, go get it, $5.95. And don't stop buying tickets because you think Jags is going to win. He doesn't win everything all the time. All right, so go get your ticket. And look, for $5.95, you could have Benjamin White's signed boot. This guy is going places, and he's going places with the Arsenal. And it wouldn't surprise me if he makes the England squad as well. I know some of you are still questioning him, but Super Kev...
He's only going to get better, I'm telling you.
Yes,
he's only going to be his first season at the Arsenal. First season. Come from Brighton. And I think he's played the most minutes out of anyone.
Yes. By the way, I'm seeing there's a few... Ethelston is always the respectable Spurs fan we have in the house. Got a couple of other Spurs fans jumping in, of course, raving about how Harry Kane has surpassed Thierry or equaled Thierry Henry's goals. Big question is still, what have they won? What has he won? And the Son-Kane partnership the best. And I ask you again, what have they won? I bet when they sit at the end of their career, the one thing they will always regret is not winning. And Tottenham Hotspur have absolutely wasted their years. I'm not disappointed about it. But go ahead, keep putting up the stats. Alan Shearer, I'm sure, feels the same. I'd rather Wayne Rooney's career than Alan Shearer's career. That's for sure. Right, Super Kev. Tomorrow is it?
Shearer did win a title.
Yeah,
So
with Blackburn,
least,
he did.
Yeah, but at least he won.
Yeah, he did.
That's the point. At least he won something. I mean, these two. I mean, come on, great players that they are. You need something to show, Sophie.
Yes.
Here's the medal. Here's our celebrations and all that.
Yes.
And it's not as if they haven't got to final, Sophie. They've got there.
Yeah.
And they haven't won.
Yes.
I suppose they could show the Addy Cup medal, can't they?
Yeah, that's always a little perk for them, isn't it? Moments like this, Danny D, you know, this is what we're talking about, Kev's experience, stuff like this. And of course, in our darkest days over the last 6.5 years, our 4 FA Cups, of which you would like one too. Even the Queen celebrates us. Yeah. So thanks for joining, Danny. Bless your little heart. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. And I tell you, are we the gift that just keeps on giving? There's going to be 2 shows tomorrow. There's going to be a nice little bonus for International Women's Day. You won't want to miss that because I've got a couple of surprises in store. And also, at our regular time slot at 8 o'clock, we have the Arsenal Vision lads joining us. That is right, Mr. Clive Palmer himself and Elliot will be joining me and Super Kev. Can't wait for the trifecta conversation between these 3. I've got some really great questions lined up for them. Let's be ready to get stuck into that. Join us tomorrow for that. It's going to be absolutely another cracking show. Super Kev, I'm done with all my bits and bobs. We've got 350 in live chat. I'm not sure what the likes are like, but
How many likes do we have? Tammy's usually my lady who tells me. Tammy, how many likes do we have, darling? Because you know what? We need, if we've got 350, we need 175. We need at least half.
Yeah. This argument really just is the funniest thing ever. If that's your trophy, Danny, then enjoy, sweetheart. No. And also, we actually live rent-free in your heads. You know, when we have to polish every spring, hurts our arm. You know, it's painful. Oh, put the old rub on the shoulder.
Shoulder out.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't even have spring cleaning. Just saying. We got 160, Kev. 160 likes.
We need 15 more, Don Juan, don't we? We need 15 more. Hey, and listen, do you know what? Hey, good that some of the Spurs fans come in and
I love it.
Want to have a bit of banter.
Yeah, good banter.
This is football. This is what football's about. Do you know what I mean?
Don Juan thinks it's Newman.
It might be. You just never know. It might be.
Danny, you're a brave soul coming in. Good banter. Well done.
See you later, Danny.
All right, that's all I've got. Super Kev, why don't you take us out?
All right, everybody. Listen, squaddies. All the very best. You know we love you. Spuds, behave yourself in there. I'm telling you, behave yourself. We'll allow you in, but behave yourself, all right? Look after yourself, everybody. Take good care, whether it's your night, sleep well, whether it's your day, have a great day. And always remember, tell those loved ones you love them. At ease, squaddies. At ease.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Hello, we are the Arsenal boys, and if you are a Tottenham fan, surrender